Hello, I'm Tyler, and this is my mom, and we're making bruschetta.
Yes.
This is all the ingredients that we need for the bruschetta. We got our baguette, different tomato types, we got our basil, mozzarella, olive oil, and then we've got our two balsamic vinegars. We've got the normal one and the glaze. Alright, we're ready to cut the bread. So first thing I did was cut it in half to make it fit on the cutting board a little bit easier. Then I like to cut the ends off because you don't really want that in your bruschetta, but you can use it for something else. And then it depends on what you like. If you like something a little more crunchy, you might want it to be a little bit more thick, but I like it right in the middle, so this is about the thickness that I like, right here. And then we'll just go ahead and cut all this up for the next step, and we'll see you then. Alright, so we've got the whole baguette cut up into chunks about this size. So the next step is to get a little bit of olive oil just to cover the bottom of like a tiny little container. And then you'll just take the bread and you'll just dip it in there. Oop, I dropped it. And then you can either do one side or you can do both sides. I like olive oil, so I'm going to do both sides. And then you just shake it off. Shake it off a little bit, kind of scrape it off. And then we're going to go ahead and throw it on this pan right here. And then, if you have a sauce brush, you can go ahead and use the sauce brush as well to kind of brush it off or brush it onto the side if you want less olive oil. So you can just take this brush and brush it on. And that's pretty much the two different techniques that I've learned while doing this. Get back to you when the bread's done. Welcome back. The bread is in the oven. It's at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. And while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and get the topping prepared. We're going to start on the tomatoes now. We've got two different sizes. You could usually just pick one, but for demonstration, we've got the little cherry tomatoes, and then we've got the big tomatoes. So for the little cherry tomatoes, I like to cut them in half. And that's pretty much all I like to do with them. With the big tomatoes, I like to cut them up into little diced chunks, and then we'll throw it into the mixture. You just want to get a few little dices, maybe like this or smaller, and that's pretty much it. We'll come back when that's done. Taking the bread out, it's been 10 minutes, and we cut up the tomatoes. We're gonna finish this topping. So we're gonna start with some mozzarella. I'm gonna get a little bit of mozzarella. These are kind of big chunks, so we wanna cut them in half, and we'll throw them in the bowl. Just like so. And we'll continue to do the rest of that. But you'll also take the basil, and you'll throw that a little bit in there. Just a little pinch is fine. And then you'll get the balsamic vinegar, not the glaze. And you're gonna dump a little bit of that in there as well. And just do it to your liking. I like a little bit more, but it's gonna get tossed anyways. So we'll come back when it's time to put it on the bread. Welcome back. We've got the bread here, we've got the topping made. So I've already mixed it up by hand. We put the balsamic vinegar in there. We put some tomatoes, and we put some basil and cheese. So what you want to do is you want to get a good amount of tomatoes, and then you want to make sure you get some cheese on there as well. And if it's the diced ones, you want to make sure you can get them all stacked on there. And then if you've got the little cherry tomatoes, you want them to be the half slices, and you'll put them on there like this, where it's one on each side, and then you'll get your cheese and you'll fill the middle of those in between the bread with the cheese, and that'll melt once we get it into the oven. And that's pretty much all you do. We'll put it back on the tray, and then we'll put it back in the oven at 350 for about 3 minutes until the cheese melts. All right, we'll see you then. All right, we just took it out of the oven. The cheese doesn't really change shape, but it's melted for sure. So you got to be careful. You know, don't let it sit in there too long. But then once it's ready, it's all cooked and everything, and you want to get your balsamic vinegar glaze. Sorry, not gret. That's a salad dressing. And then you just put your glaze over top. Just a little bit's alright. And once that's done, it's ready to eat. Alright, this is what they look like. See you next time.